Ever wondered what it really takes to lead successful learning initiatives in a big, dynamic company? Or maybe you're already doing it and looking to level up your game. Our sources reveal something pretty critical without a genuine understanding of how people learn. Even the best project manager is, well, kind of flying blind in corporate L&D. Today, we're taking a deep dive into what sets apart the truly talented project managers in the corporate learning and development space. L&D, it's a niche, and it demands way more than just generic project management skills. There's this unique blend of capabilities that honestly makes all the difference. We've pulled insights from a really practical, evidence-based document. It's titled Project Managers in the Corporate L&D Space. And we've layered that with extensive research from Ravi Sankar Das. He's a digital learning pro, 2 decades of experience across IT, finance, academia. So really solid stuff. His insights give us this practical framework, a real-world perspective. So our mission today, let's uncover those unique capabilities, that secret sauce, if you will, that makes an L&D PM not just good, but genuinely exceptional.
You should walk away with a clearer idea of what to look for when you're hiring, or maybe how to develop these skills yourself. Become that indispensable asset. Okay, let's unpack this journey. So let's start right at the foundation. Our research points to the first, maybe the most crucial thing: deep L&D specific domain understanding. This isn't just about ticking off tasks or watching timelines. It's really knowing how learning programs actually work, from the initial idea, the design, all the way through delivery and checking if it worked. What does that really look like day to day, though?
It's precisely that. And what's fascinating, and I think often underestimated, is how these L&D principles directly shape the practical parts of a project. They really do influence everything. Your budget, realistic timelines, even which tech you choose. So talented L&D PMs, they can talk fluently about instructional design models. They get it. Like, they understand ADIE, that's analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation, the whole systematic thing. Or maybe they lean towards SAM, the successive approximation model, which is more agile, lets you iterate faster. Or they might even use agile for learning. Continuous feedback, incremental development, sort of like software dev, but for learning. And these aren't just, academic buzzwords. They directly shape how you structure the project. They understand adult learning principles too. Like, adults need relevance now. They learn by solving problems. They want some control. This isn't just theory. It affects how they design the content, the engagement, so people don't just tune out. A common pitfall, honestly, for PMs without this background: they underestimate the time, the resources for good content. Or they misjudge how complex integrating platforms can be. You'll see they have real experience managing not just content, but LMS integrations, maybe LXP rollouts, navigating those tricky e-learning vendor relationships. They know the whole learning ecosystem, inside and out, which means they can spot challenges coming, steer the ship effectively.
That's such a critical distinction. It really sounds like they're not just project managers in L&D, but they're L&D experts who are also brilliant project managers.
Exactly.
So moving beyond the learning design, the delivery, let's talk about the who, because our sources really highlight that managing people in L&D is it's its own beast. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. You're not dealing with just one client contact. You've got this whole ecosystem, right? GPay, HR, business leaders, subject matter experts, SMEs, facilitators, tech teams.
Yeah.
That is a lot of different perspectives and often competing agendas. How do the elite PMs handle that complex web?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these successful L&D PMs, they're not just managing tasks. They're so adept at managing incredibly complex expectations and translating that broad business vision into something tangible, something impactful, educational experiences that work. I mean, think about it. Leadership might want a new training program launched, like yesterday.
Right. Speed is key.
But then your SMEs are demanding absolute accuracy, deep dives into every single detail.
Yep. Thoroughness matters to them.
And the tech team might be flagging integration issues. The elite PM, they have a proven track record balancing these, often through, diplomatic negotiation, getting everyone focused on shared goals. They're absolute masters at translating broad business goals like improved sales performance into clear, measurable learning outcomes. Something concrete like sales team shows a 15% increase in cross-selling 6 months after the training, that kind of thing.
Making it specific.
Exactly. Bridging that gap between business needs and learning strategy is just paramount. And crucially, they can diplomatically resolve those conflicts that always pop up, whether it's content creators feeling rushed, tech needing more time, sponsors changing scope halfway through.
Oh yeah, scope creep.
It's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
Diplomacy, clear communication, and constantly pulling everyone back to the ultimate learning goal and the business impact. They don't just facilitate meetings, they orchestrate genuine consensus.
Wow.
chief diplomat of the learning initiative, almost. Making sure everyone feels heard, but also aligned.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, let's pivot then. Let's talk technology, because that's shaping everything in modern learning. These projects are so often deeply tied into platforms, tools. So beyond just being tech comfortable, what specific vendor and tech savvy do we need in an L&D PM for them to really excel? What are the signs?
Well, this raises an important question for you listening. How do you make sure the tech you pick actually enhances the learning, not hinders it?
Good question.
The best L&D PMs don't just know technology. They understand its applications specifically in a learning context. They've got hands-on experience with various platforms, your traditional LMSs, right, for course delivery, tracking, or the more learner-centric LXPs, learning experience platforms, focusing on personalization, skills. They're familiar with authoring tools too, Storyline, Captivate, and virtual classroom tech. But critically, they know how to evaluate and onboard external vendors for all sorts of solutions, custom e-learning, blended programs, microlearning.
So vendor management is key.
Huge. And it's not just about the cheapest price. It's finding the right partner whose tech actually integrates smoothly into what you already have. And that's the kicker, really. They have this ability to integrate new tech seamlessly without messing up the learner experience. They get data flow, security, how to troubleshoot common integration headaches. A PM without that savvy. Their project can get derailed so fast. Compatibility nightmares, budget blowouts from unexpected integration costs, or just a frustrating user experience that kills the whole initiative. They use tech as an enabler, not a roadblock. Always thinking about the learner first.
That distinction is so important. Knowing tech versus knowing learning tech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not just about picking and plugging in the tech, it's ensuring people actually use it. Adopt the new learning. So many L&D projects are part of bigger change initiatives, right? So change management skills must be vital. How do these top PMs guide that human side of the transformation? What's the challenge they master there?
You know, what's really fascinating here is that a great L&D PM isn't just shipping a course, they're actually facilitating a shift in behavior, in culture, in how the organization works. They get that any new learning program is basically a change initiative.
Right.
So they can design effective communication plans, engagement plans, specifically to get people adopting the new learning, crafting messages that resonate, finding champions inside the business, creating ways for feedback and support. Our sources point out they also understand cultural nuances. Those can massively impact acceptance across different groups or regions.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, what works for sales in the US might totally flop with engineering in Germany or even another department down the hall. They adapt their approach, get genuine buy-in, and crucially, they've successfully worked with business units to embed the learning right into workflows.
Making it part of the job.
Exactly. Not just taking a course, but making learning natural, intuitive, like maybe building a quick reference guide into the CRM, or short videos accessible right when you need them. They bridge that gap between the learning and the doing, making sure the investment actually translates into real change and better performance.
So they're launching new ways of working, new ways of thinking, not just programs. But how do they prove it? How do these exceptional L&D PMs demonstrate that impact? In today's world, it all comes down to data, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not enough to say it's good. You got to show it.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, a true L&D PM gets that learning isn't just an expense line, it's a strategic investment. And it needs to show clear, measurable ROI for the business. They move beyond just, vanity metrics.
Like completion rates.
Yeah, or smile sheets. Those are okay, but they go deeper. They create and track KPIs that really matter. Things like knowledge retention, applying skills on the job, and the big one, business impact. That could be fewer errors, higher productivity, faster onboarding, better customer satisfaction scores, whatever ties back to business goals.
Real results.
Real results. And they're familiar with robust evaluation models like Kirkpatrick's 4 levels: reaction, learning, behavior, results. Or maybe Phillips's ROI methodology, which actually puts a dollar value on it. They don't just collect data, they analyze it. They tell a compelling story with it. And they use feedback loops constantly, surveys, interviews, performance data to keep improving the learning. Make sure it evolves, delivers sustained value. That analytical rigor, that's what elevates them. They prove learning isn't a cost center, it's actually a profit driver.
That direct line from learning to business results,
Yeah.
that's powerful. But let's be real. Projects hardly ever go perfectly to plan, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Business priorities shift, budgets get slashed, key people leave, roadblocks pop up out of nowhere. This demands incredible agility, creative problem solving. It's like they need a plan B for their plan B. How do the best handle that constant flux.
Well, and this raises another question for you listening. How do you ensure the learning still delivers the essential value, meets its core goal, even when the goalposts move or the resources vanish?
Yeah, what do you do then?
Talented L&D PMs show this amazing ability to pivot quickly. Without totally derailing everything, they're not rigid, they're resilient, they excel at creative problem solving for those common headaches, budget cuts, a critical SME suddenly gone, tech glitches. They don't just freeze up, they find alternatives. Like maybe that big in-person workshop is suddenly impossible. Okay, they quickly rescope it, maybe a blended approach. Self-paced modules plus virtual coaching, and crucially, they've delivered minimum viable learning experiences, MVPs for learning, to meet urgent business needs when time and resources are just squeezed.
Minimum viable learning, I like that.
It's not about cutting corners recklessly. It's about identifying the absolute core learning objectives and designing a streamlined solution that still delivers essential value fast. It's about keeping momentum, delivering impact, even under pressure. That's a real testament to their resourcefulness, their adaptable mindset.
So they're the ones turning crisis into opportunity, making sure learning happens effectively even when things get crazy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, finally. It's not enough just to build an amazing program, even if it's data-driven and agile. You have to get people excited. You have to inspire them to actually use it, adopt it, which highlights this indispensable need for strong communication. Storytelling skills, even. It's that magic dust that makes it all stick.
It really is. And what's fascinating here is how the L&D PM becomes this powerful advocate, inspiring active engagement, adoption, not just dropping off a product. They understand the best program fails if nobody knows about it, or worse, if they just don't care.
Right. The why bother factor.
Exactly. So they can clearly articulate the why behind the learning, make its purpose compelling, relevant to different people. They tap into what motivates individuals' career growth, better skills, solving a real business pain point. And they shift their communication style brilliantly. They talk ROI with executives. They offer practical support to facilitators. They get learners excited about what's in it for them. Plus, they create compelling updates, dashboards that actually resonate, turning complex data into a clear story that inspires action. They're not just reporting progress, they're building enthusiasm, commitment, fostering a culture where learning is valued, sought out. That persuasive power, critical for long-term success.
Absolutely. Making the learning journey irresistible. So, okay, we've laid out these 7 powerful, nuanced capabilities, but what does this all mean for you in, like, a real-world assessment? Or when you're applying for a role? How do you spot this secret sauce? Our sources offer a fantastic pro tip here, a scenario-based test. Okay, imagine this. You're leading a big digital learning rollout, 10,000 employees, 5 countries. You're midway through development and boom, a critical subject matter expert leaves the company, takes all that crucial knowledge with them.
Oh boy.
At the same time, your LMS vendor misses a key integration milestone. The whole schedule is now threatened. And just to make it fun, the business moves launch date up by a month. Urgent market need. What's your immediate action plan? How do you handle that perfect storm?
Wow. Okay, that scenario isn't just tightening knowledge, is it? It's a massive test of resilience and their ability to apply all those skills we've talked about under intense pressure. So first, it reveals their L&D domain understanding. How fast can they spot the gaps left by the SME? Propose alternative content strategies, find new resources. Do they get how this hits the instructional design, the validation process?
Right, the core learning stuff.
Then boom, savvy stakeholder management is immediately tested. How do they talk to the execs about the missed deadline A&D, the earlier launch? Manage those expectations while offering solutions. How do they handle the vendor, hold them accountable, and negotiate recovery, get them back on track? And how do they engage the remaining SMEs or find new ones without causing chaos?
Diplomacy under fire.
Totally. Then there's vendor and tech savvy. Can they quickly figure out the impact of that missed LMS milestone? Suggest alternatives, workarounds, even temporary ones to keep things moving. Do they grasp the tech implications of rushing the launch? It also puts their change management competence right under the microscope. How do they communicate all these sudden changes to 10,000 people? Keep buy-in. Minimize resistance. Not create panic.
Managing the human reaction.
Absolutely. Their data-driven thinking comes in too. They'd need to quickly reprioritize based on impact. What is absolutely essential for that earlier launch? What data do they need now to track the new risks, the successes? How will they measure the impact of any compromised elements? And crucially, it's a huge test of their agility and creativity. Can they pivot that fast? Identify the absolute minimum viable learning needed for the new deadline? Can they creatively solve that SME content gap? Maybe leverage existing internal internal stuff differently, rapidly build some microlearning.
Finding solutions on the fly.
Exactly. And finally, their communication and storytelling skills are vital. How do they frame the why behind these tough changes? Inspire confidence, not despair. Give clear, concise updates to everyone, maintaining trust when everything feels chaotic. It's a holistic pressure test. Every capability we discussed, it shows who can really perform when the chips are down.
Exactly. That scenario isn't just theoretical, is it? It's the kind of complex mess that elite L&D PMs actually navigate.
All too often, yes.
It brings everything together: stakeholder needs, agility, creative problem solving, clear communication, all converging in one high-stakes situation. That's the real proving ground. So we've seen that finding truly talented L&D project managers means looking way beyond just generic PM skills. It's about these 7 specific nuanced capabilities that let them thrive in the unique, often chaotic, world of corporate learning, turning that potential chaos into structured, impactful learning.
Precisely. From that deep L&D domain understanding underpinning every move to data-driven thinking that proves the value, managing complex stakeholders with real finesse, and inspiring adoption with powerful communication. These skills truly make the difference between a project just getting delivered and a learning experience being profoundly transformed. They ensure learning isn't just an activity, but a strategic lever for the whole organization, consistently delivering on those business goals.
So the next time you encounter an L&D project, or maybe you're working on one yourself, think about it. Consider not just what gets built, but who is orchestrating that whole journey. Think about how their unique blend of these specific skills ultimately shapes its true impact, its success, and its lasting legacy in the organization. What will you be looking for, or maybe building in yourself to achieve that kind of transformation? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing.